hire none this month, or whatever, you know. So I just don't understand why this was brought up. It's definitely, unless you can tell me something different about the budget, but according to the numbers on the budget, everybody in the whole town is running right around the same percent of budget used. You know, also, you'd sent me a text and another alderman about, you know, I guess that's when this first started coming up, was about how much it cost the town per person for the police department. And as you remember, I told you that it actually, you know, instead of the whole $876,000 budget that the police department has, they bring in $524,000 budgeted for fines. So you take that off, that's $352,000 and some change that the actual town has come up with to pay for the police department. Am I correct on the numbers? Yeah, and I mean, that's basically how I feel that it works. You know, we have some other taxes and things that come in that get spread around. You know, as the auditors had told us, we had, what was it, 6 months or
9 months.
9 months that we could survive without collecting anything. So I really can't get in my mind that where did this come from? Why is it even brought up? We already have an ordinance saying that we have to hire his office on his request. So I don't know if it's, I can't speak for you or him, but I just don't see why we would need to put a maximum number on this. And then I understand, hey, we can come back and revisit it and amend it, but why? We already have it on the books that we do this already without the exception of the 8 limits. So with that being said, y'all know from where I'm talking, I'm gonna vote no. And just as I stated, the reason is, there's no reason for it. It's in the budget. I mean, we, as a town as a whole right now, and if y'all know me, I voted against this, but it passed. We are overcharging our gas and water astronomically. We had $485, almost $86,000 over budget already in that department. So that tells me that, that tells me that, you know, we got a little lucrative money there that we could, as you used to tell me, kind of pass it around. But I don't really even see where we need to pass anything around. For one, I think they're doing pretty good on their budget with what they're working. We don't have enough officers. They work overtime all the time. You know that cuts down on your budget because you're paying overtime instead of straight time. Now, I know Chief has a schedule that I'm not sure if it's a 4 and 3 or 3 and 4, however they work it. That's his job. He takes care of that. I feel as long as these numbers are right, hey, y'all doing a fine job. So that said, I'm gonna pass it on to you, and whoever else wants to speak.
I have a question. Problem I have with this ordinance is there's a maximum, but there's no minimum. And the mayor stated at a meeting that he would go down to 4 police officers. He don't remember saying that, but it's already been proven he said it. There's audio of the meeting that he said he will go down to 4 police officers. By signing his ordinance, you give him the opportunity to go down to 4 police officers, but you take away his opportunity to make it more than 8 police officers. That's the problem I have with it.
On that part, Rusty, and correct me if I'm wrong, when you say that he has the right to go down, in other words, am I understanding you by saying that he could go in and just fire and cut out whoever?
No, but he can, if a police officer does not quit because he's working too much overtime, you can opt not to hire another one. He did he not state that he was gonna go down to 4 police officers?
You have it. It ain't gonna hit for unless he can't hire nobody. If they quit and he can't find nobody,
But that's
We
not,
don't-
but that's not what that ordinance says.
The ordinance does not have a minimum. If you said that we have a minimum of 8 police officers, we wouldn't have a problem right here. He stated that he was gonna go down to 4 police officers. He stated that in a meeting, y'all didn't hear it, but it was on the
other
floor.
alderman saying so.
Huh?
He cannot do it without the other aldermen agreeing.
Well, if y'all vote yes, y'all seem like y'all gonna be on his side for that.
I'm not taking either one of them side, but I'm gonna agree with.
What I'm telling you, I wanted to
I'm
vote
gonna
no.
agree with Fred. You already got the ordinance in place. This here don't need that. My point of view is, I think them two need to sit down and get a happy meeting.
Well, he stated on the news that he wants to end this battle by signing this ordinance. Ending the battle is not sitting down and talking about it.
They have to get down, I think the chief and the mayor and maybe 2 aldermen, get down and this would be the happy meeting.
Well, the way to start that is by voting this ordinance down by the.
It needs to happen. Chief, it needs to happen, mayor, it needs to happen. I'm not even voting for this, that's another.
I have one more on these. As I sit and wonder, what could I say at this meeting to set the minds and concerns of the citizens of Fort Barre at ease, I realize there is probably nothing I can say, but I am not a person in giving up. I believe in the concept that there are always 2 sides to everything. Same thing goes for politics. I believe that we can work together. Will we disagree? By all means, yes. Will we always get what we want and everything we face? No. We will be upset that at times, yes, we get to our way. But what we need to do is to learn to let our personal feelings go and work within the decisions that are made. I just want everyone to know in here that I do not put anybody's safety on the back burner. Safety will always come first.
That's what you're doing whenever you sign this ordinance.
As an elected official, I have other duties that I have to look at. And I just hope that no matter what happens tonight, it's just, I'm a sports person, so I'll put it like this, like I've always referred to things. There's 2 sides to the fence. When you're on the field side, you see things one way. When you're on the outside, you see it another way. But that does not mean that after the game is over with, we cannot all still be friends and work together to make our town better. And that's where I am at.
No, this ordinance is in the battle.
Well, the thing,
Well,
Man has the floor.
What's the intent of this? I mean, what are we trying to do? We don't have, what matters the number? Is that it? Because all the rest of it, like you said, everything else in that ordinance, I'm sure what his responsibilities are is already been done in fact. So the only thing we're here to do today is decide whether we want 8, less or more, right? Is that it?
It's gonna be 8.
well,
You
guys have to understand, understand that I don't have a problem with just a man coming up here saying, he's a little bit high enough police officer. I got no problem with it. You're not high enough.
we have all agreed up here on the board that, I'm not including the mayor, I'm talking about, I'm gonna just state us 3 right here because I don't sit on that side. So I don't hear what they say or what's discussed. But I am, and we have been in favor of 8 police officers. In the time that I have sat here, everyone that has been brought before us, we have hired. We're not about hurting anybody. And our job is to hire upon the recommendation, or not hire upon the recommendation of the mayor and the chief. And that's where we at today.
So which one of y'all wants to suit up and come on a busy day where we have 17 complaints and take a ride with one of us and see how it is, where you've got 6 calls at one time, you got to prioritize. And you got 1 officer, and you got another officer maybe out of town picking up food. Who wants to come ride with one of us? You can ride with the chief, you can ride with me. I ain't got a problem with it. But come do it. Come see what we do.
This is Susie, and you're saying y'all three, and I kind of like that. Say it
Well,
on
no,
both sides. What I would like to hear from you,
Guys, hold on.
No.
I'd like
Person's
to,
talking, please
Yeah.
be quiet. Be respectful.
appreciate it. You know, like you said, y'all talked over there and got together and said that, you know, y'all was in favor of 8 officers. I'd like to know for what reason, because if anything, it's got to do with money. I've heard that said from that side. I don't see where, can y'all show me where the police department's over budget that we need to put this restriction on?
Hello, I'm Chief Jennifer Lofton from the Cottonport Police Department, and I am here today to show my support for Chief Boudreaux. Cottonport is a town that is about the same size as your town, Port Barre. We have almost the same amount of citizens in our town. I do want to say, with all of this, everybody's points, I do want to say, in this day and age, times are very, very different. I'm having issues with retention. I have myself working a shift, sometimes 2 shifts, with 3 other officers. It's hard. We're as busy as this department is. It is very hard. When there's no law and order, you will have chaos. Nobody sees from that side. I do want to encourage you to go look at some of the stats, look at some of the things that your officers are doing. It's Dion is the head of that department, but take part in it. Look and see what's actually happening. Yes, there's 2 sides, as you said, ma'am, but when you go to the other side and actually see what's going on, what makes it tick, what makes it run, do that. I really encourage all of you to do that, because it's a totally different world. It's a different world than what you are comfortable in your house seeing, where there's everything else that's going on. We try to staff for 2. He's lucky to have 2. Nobody wants to be in law enforcement anymore, and when you do have people, you have to jump on them. You really, really do. The calls that we have in a month, or what, at least we have 400 calls in a month. 400, that's not counting the traffic. It's not counting the walk-in complaints that we have. Plus all of the reports, everything that goes to the DA. It's very, very trying. So before you make this decision, I just ask that you vote no in support for your chief. He's very capable. The people put him in that position for a reason. Trust him with that position. Support him with that.
Okay,
Please.
How many officers do you have in Cottonport?
I have 4, including myself.
Ask her how much they pay.
We close.
Of course.
Please.
That's it. Okay. Now that leaves other question. It's still in discussion.
Yes.
They can't vote on it.
Appreciate y'all coming in. I wish I had this at every meeting, and take that much interest in everything we do here.
No, I'm here.
Sewer and water and recreation and everything else that has to go on.
Okay.
Roll call.
Heavenly Father, I ask you to be with us this evening, trust the business of the town, Lord. I ask that cool minds and cool heads prevail, or that discernment, wisdom, and knowledge prevail in this meeting to the benefit of the community as a whole. Let personal pride, let personal agendas, let everything else that it seems to be driving this be pushed to the wayside, and the benefits and to the community, number 1 in this. Heavenly Father, we ask you to be with us, be with those working the streets tonight, protection of the city. Lord, just know that we are here to support this city, this group of aldermen, the chief of police, as a community, to make sure
have a motion.
All in favor, aye? Opposed? Motion carried. We'll give up our resolution tonight. Okay, new business, adopt ordinance number 1 of 2024, composition of police department and general duties of the police chief. Need a motion?
I got a question before we get too far. Can we put this, renegotiate on some of this?
No, this is an ordinance, we gotta vote for it.
Gotta vote for it. Well, I don't wanna go down to 4 police officers, start off. 8 police officers.
He said he was. I got it on video.
Okay, Rusty, that's enough.
Is what I'm going, he's got some auxiliary police officers. This is what I'm gonna go through, I'll make that motion.
No, you can't. The motion on the table, the item on the table is to adopt the ordinance.
If there's no motion or a second, the vote, the ordinance. And you explain it.
I'll make that motion.
Make it. Second? Motion been made, second? You will now vote.
No, it's public discussion.
Susie, I'll ask you, because you didn't get the answer, the reasoning behind voting for it.
The reason behind it, if I want to be totally honest, I don't have, I admit it, I agree with the 8 officers. And I have a huge problem that if more was to come in front of me, I have a hard problem telling a man I cannot vote for him to have a job. That's one of my biggest issues. If I have to do it, then I'll have to do it. Budget-wise, I feel we can't afford it, and that is what we're
They charge you overcharging water, how y'all can't afford it, y'all be charging on water, gas, or gas.
Wait,
You can't, we'll let you go outside.
No, I would not. And
I disagree with that, and I'd like for you to maybe show where those numbers, because
Okay.
we're looking at right now, the police department is at 81% of their budget. Parks and Recreations is 80%. Town Hall is at 84.9. Should we be cutting somebody in Town Hall? Because apparently their budget is higher over the police department.
okay, let me ask you this. When we're talking about the budget, are we talking about what we think it's going to be in September? How he's going to come in at September?
Right, and
Okay,
that's
that I
the
don't
only
have
way.
that information.
You wait, what?
I said, I don't have that. I mean, you giving it, yeah, you
Well,
giving
well,
it the
well, no,
number.
they give it to us every month, and if you pay attention, the budget is, the percentages is what you gotta look at. You can't look at each individual line. You gotta go down to the bottom, circle it. That department is at 74, this department's at 81, this department's at 80. Okay? They've been averaging about 5 to 6 percentage points per month. Everybody. Nobody's been jumping ahead, nobody's been falling behind. So that tells me that, and I brought this up last week, that does it look like these numbers are pretty correct? I don't schedule with our, it's our third quarter for regular businesses, the time we're in the fourth. You know, we're a quarter ahead. So if you're talking about, we got 3 more months, 5%, that's 15%. You're 5% under. Of the overall budget. 5%. Under the budget that we set for this. And that's also having to take into consideration that these officers are working astronomical overtime. If you take those guys and take that overtime away and just pay somebody straight time, because look, police department works 24/7, 7 days a week, every day. It's an easy number. Hell, if we wanted to see what the real budget of, say, 4 or 5 officers would, nobody would get a day off, it would be overtime every week. Time and a half. So if I pay an officer his straight time of 40 hours, and I pay another officer straight time of 40 hours. That's cheaper than paying 80 hours for one officer. A lot, and then it increases every month, and that's per officer. How many hours y'all are working per week right now?
84 every 2.
40?
How much you work a week?
So,
With the
40
overtime,
hours overtime?
with the overtime.
They get paid every 2 weeks. They work 84 hours, scheduled 84 hours,
In those 2 weeks?
without overtime. But they're working 40.
40 extra.
And out of 2 weeks, they only working
But
7
even
days.
if you had
Working
more,
2, 3.
and it's more than your budget was set for, and
So out of 14
we
days,
still
they only working
had
7.
that budget.
Or they
I
should
just,
be.
again, I don't like it being a political thing, because it's what it sounds like. It's definitely not a money thing, we just agreed that they're right on budget. We already have an ordinance that says that he can't hire anybody that we don't vote on. So it's a moot point to me. Legally, I mean, how can we adopt this ordinance if we already had an ordinance saying pretty much the same thing? Wouldn't it have to be amended ordinance?
We don't have an ordinance.
We don't have an ordinance?
The number of police officers. We have a law.
No, right.
And the law
But we have to,
It's not an ordinance. It's a law in the Parks Act that says that the board hires police officers.
correct,
That's it.
right. So, what was that, Chief?
Oh,
Do you read that, Ms. Thomas?
imagine
Or
that.
that you?
This is a Port Public Safety, Section 4-1001, department created. There's created a police department for the municipality which shall assist the chief of police and as many police officers as may be deemed necessary for safety and good order. That's an ordinance.
So,
Item from your town.
so how do we legally adopt a new ordinance, not going off of that? I'm asking legal, I don't
Read
know
the
about legal.
ordinance number, Chief, what's the ordinance number?
4-1001. Your office.
So with that all being said, you know, again, I'm all about, hey, look, we don't wanna get in debt. This town is definitely not in debt. We pushing an ordinance as a political event. Only say that, you know, we're gonna limit 8 officers on an elected official, that we already control all the hiring for. I do have another question also on that, because like I said before, I trust you running this department, I trust them running this department. Why is there an ordinance saying that we have to vote on people at the town? Only the police department, is there something
What's the worst amount?
that says that? So we could actually pass an ordinance, this same thing, saying we can only have 3 people in the town hall. I wouldn't do it, because that's not my business. My business is to make sure that the town is run right. We on budget, we doing that. Everybody was going along fine, and until that meeting I missed, and everything broke loose. So y'all didn't agree that this is not about the budget. Have I not proved that to y'all? Well, and I got it all
It's
circled,
already-
if anybody wants to look at it.
Okay, Blake, you vote?
Hey,
We have any public?
Wait, Ron?
Wait, they still talking.
I wasn't able to speak earlier.
I'm sorry.
Comment, we didn't know.
We don't have public comment to the introduction of the ordinance.
Go ahead, I'll take it.
Most of the folks here are familiar with me. I come to almost every meeting. I am friends with Dion Boudreaux. I'm an associate with Mr. Johnny. Sometimes I agree with Mr. Johnny, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I agree with Dion, sometimes I don't. In this particular matter, there aspects on both sides, that I've voiced my opinion for and against. I've given advice on both sides, and take it or not. Okay? Mayor, you brought up a point saying that you wish that there was this much interest on most town meetings. Well, I think everyone can agree, my interest is most town meetings. I am here as often as I possibly can for town meetings. I think the only time I'm not here is we don't have town meetings on Wednesday nights. I have other obligations. So, that being said, I have a question and a request for Ms. Susan. Okay. Did you pen the ordinance that was introduced? Did you come up with this ordinance that was introduced?
Did I come up with it,
Correct.
or did I introduce it?
I know you introduced it. Is this ordinance from your fruition? Is this an ordinance that you did?
No, it comes from our legal advisor,
Oh, okay.
our lawyer.
No, I did not.
You did not, okay. Then I direct to the city attorney. Did you pen the ordinance based on your own fruition, review of an audit or anything like that, or was it penned at a request of someone from the city?
No, it was at the request of the mayor,
At the
so.
request of the mayor? Okay, so, thank you. The mayor cannot introduce an ordinance. One of the aldermen can introduce the ordinance, okay? I agree with Mr. Gregg that this is a politically motivated, issue. There has been a, lack of a better word, rivalry between the mayor and the chief from the onset. I think that Mr. Gregg has plainly shown that this is not a budgetary issue. When all this was introduced, the mayor and I had a conversation after the meeting in May, and of his own agreement that the police department stays within budget for the most part every year. So it is not a budgetary issue. So, that being said, I am making a request. Mr. Donham, you made the motion to introduce this ordinance. You seconded the motion, which we assumed because you introduced it. Okay. I was expecting you to make the motion to introduce it because you made the motion. But that being said, based on the fact that we know this is not a budgetary issue, this is not something that was introduced or thought up by the council. This was introduced based on the mayor's belief that the chief may not be operating like he should, or the chief may not be agreeing with what the mayor says, or it is definitely a political issue, which it is fine, it's politics. It's how this unfolds. But this particular political event, I believe, does not represent the beliefs of the I don't know, it's purely rumor, purely rumor. But I know you have run for mayor before. And your intention is to run for mayor?
No.
Maybe, no, okay. And that,
What I do, I have not decided.
okay. And that's fine, it was just a question.
When I ran this time, I don't know what my.
And it's fine. I just want to throw something out there, real quick. The last mayor's election, the primary had 664 votes. The last mayor's runoff election was decided by 7 votes. 7 votes decided who sat in that chair. Currently, there are more than 7 people in this room saying no. I don't think anyone on this board has the ability, like currently there's a Facebook page that has 299 members. I'm not saying every one of those 299 members are citizens of this town or,
Where you going with?
I'm getting, or is support by the others. But I'm saying, if 200 are, I don't think, based on past numbers, any alderman or the mayor, or anybody sitting in these chairs can afford a 200-plus swing in votes.
Okay? Yeah, let me have, all 5 of these members on this board were not elected.
You're right, they ran
Were
unopposed.
not elected.
They
We
ran
didn't have
unopposed.
enough people in the town of Fort Barre interested in being on this
I
board.
agree. Hold on, but I assume, I would make a safe bet that is not going to occur the next election. And I think this particular evening is gonna have a lot to do with that. It was an election. You ran unopposed.
All right. Ready?
No.
All right, Susie? No. I'm gonna vote no.
Thank you.
Property located at 148 Barre, upon recommendation of the building code inspector. You'll have a copy and you'll have all of it.
You have them.
Was it right?
All right.
Motion carries.
Mr. Barry, what was the address? Yeah, I didn't hear.
The address is 148 Powhatan.
I'm sorry?
Powhatan.
Howard, okay.
Powhatan? That's 140 or 148?
148.
I got 140 on you.
I got 140.
I have 148. Well, on the minutes.
I need to know the difference. Is 140 or 148?
148.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a
It's not-
misprint on
It's a
the-
misnomer.
It's not your house.
140. 140. Sorry about that, that's a typo.
That's for the book.
Right.
At the 10 building? I was gonna see because it's not for rent or there's not nobody staying in it. It's a shed that I got tools in. It's not a place. I work for the board. It's for the board.
It's a house.
It's not a house. It's a 10 building.
No, it's a house. Got a bathroom.
It don't have no bathroom in it. Everything is taken out. I took it out myself. It's a 10 building. It's not a house. That's why I came here, really. All the pipes is out of it, everything.
Okay, you have the staff sheet in front of you for the month. I read that busy with my computer tomorrow. I want to say the Santa Barbara food drive was today extremely hot out there, by the way. So, we did well with that. We actually had a lot more pallets of food than we normally have. Actually, too much. It kind of reminded me of Moses in the desert, when God gave him manna, it was so much it was still left over in the ground. That's how it was today. However, with that came a big influx of people, so we had probably about 500 vehicles that came through today and worked well. For the first 300 boxes that we put together, but after that, it became a frenzy. It's hard to control what everybody does with something plus. And I just want to give a shout out to the men and women that helped me through that today. We have people in our community that come out there, and a couple from our office have been there, and they work. There was women, Ms. Jackie was there, and not to say your age, but you probably the oldest lady there, and she outworked. She outworked. That's right. Her Ms. Gail Nash and Ms. Kay Roban, those women outworked the men that was there. They had to tell them they were. Thank you.
I appreciate everything you do for our town, but on that note, all those women out here, busting it, whatever, I don't see not one little old one out there.
She said she didn't see one alderman out there to help.
Our surgeon did that, and the other people have the same health problems, but nobody out there comes to help, but our police officers, you pull up, and they're something to do with.
They are.
As I know, our youth mentor program starts next week, Monday. It's a 5-day program. It's for our youth, ages 10 to 16. This is gonna be a 4-hour, a day program. One day Thursday, we're going to, field trip somewhere. And it does cost a lot. It costs several $1,000s to get that done. We gotta buy t-shirts, snacks, and of course, the field trip and everything that we need for that. We had a football sale this past Friday, and we only had a week to put that together. We only sold 30 tickets, by the way. But when we started cooking, I guess the aroma of that sausage. We sold almost all of it out, and we collected for $2,000.
Actually, we charged only the most of it. Seriously, we charged only the most of it.
I won the Virgin Mary.
You did.
But I want to recycle it because I have one. I got one from Mother's Day.
You know what we can do? We can have an auction for it.
Yeah. Okay. That is good. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, not yet. Listen, first of all, I want to thank the public that showed up today. Council, Mayor, if you look into the crowd, it was mentioned. I don't want to see myself and see others. And I have a lot to say, but voted this down. It was 100% the right thing to do. This was not a good ordinance. It wasn't written well. It left a lot of questions to be asked. And I should hope that it's never brought up again. We don't need that. It's true our police department does not go over budget. Okay? Last year, 2023, we were 11,400 under budget. That's what we're always that way. The town canceled twice for about 9 months without taking in 1 cent. So our town is doing it so well that the mayor hired 2 more people to cut grass. Hey, that means we're not doing that bad, right?
That's right.
However, if you look into this crowd, mayor and council, look into this crowd. I'm gonna stand up so you don't see me. This is the voice of the people that you were that represent. You. And I was gonna say this, that if anyone would vote for this ordinance against the wishes of this crowd, then you don't represent their voice. But today y'all proved me wrong. Because of their voice, and because of their knowledge, because they're digging into things, y'all heard their voice of this. Council, I appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And if you need something, come and see us.
Always do.
We're gonna try to work together and see if we can solve it.
So this wouldn't happen.
Right here.
That's why y'all need to get
It's probably for our meetings.
Because I want to try to get along with
I know
everybody.
you well, but I don't believe in secret meetings. I know.
There's no secret meeting.
But y'all know, 16 and a half years. No, I'm gonna do it.
That's fine.
16 and a half years right here. Yeah, right here. 16 and a half years. I've never had a battle with any man or about hiring someone. So that was said. I'm beating a dead horse. Never battled about hiring people. And for the past 8 years, we've been shorthanded. So the only people that were hired is to help fill in positions. I don't know where this number 18 come on, that has been dismissed. That's not the number of police officers we've had. We've always had 10 or 11 full time, and this ordinance does not reflect anything to do with the four reserve staff part-time that we do have. Only one actually works, and he's sitting back there, Kevin Johnny. The other 3, only once a year. If we're lucky to get on a presentation, that's it. So it's not like we have 4 guys waiting at any moment to come fill in. That's not true at all. We got, what we have working with us, those men have full-time jobs. Kevin Johnny is available at times, right? There's a lot of volunteer time. But no, we don't have 4 guys just off the phone station together. We don't have that. We got, right now, we finally got up to 8. 4 of those guys not post-certified, they're not working on or 2 non-post-certified. So we got to split that up. One's in the academy right now, the other is going out to graduate in 3 months. So I just want to clarify that. Debunking lies and debunking untruths, and that was given to them, that was actually the only public you want to see. I yield, thank you.
All right, Greg? Lacy?
Just one question, what's the story of the water?
That's what he's gonna talk about.
Water horror. Sorry.
I'm sorry, and you just nonchalantly.
I'm coming up with that, y'all can help on it. Number one, this month, y'all, we had 12 water leaks.
I'm going to check it right now.
We had a lot of excessive rainfall, 6-7 days straight. And the rest of the days was dry, hot, and the ground's cooling each given week, so we had quite a few water leaks. We fixed 12 water leaks. We had 10 sewer leaks. We called the rainfall, a bunch of sinkholes in the other town. We fixed 10 sewer leaks. We put one new water tap. We had 2 new gas taps. We got 5 more upcoming. I guess with the storm and everything arising, a lot of people switching over to gas and power outages. So we got 5 new generators we're going to set up for. We had 3 humongous holes throughout the town that I had a contractor come in and fix. They done it today. We abandoned a 3/4 inch line for about a quarter mile. We put them on a new 2-inch line that we already had in the ground. We were finding multiple lines where you have 2 or 3 lines running down the same road. So instead of having all that, we abandoned the older ones and put them all back to fresh lines, which is helping out with clear water. For the water plant, that's been, we started off, we had a bunch of problems with solenoid. I said that the last meeting, y'all. So valves were getting hung open, hung closed, everything new, we're trying to fix everything correctly. We got that fixed. We was having a problem with not being able to get proper chlorine. We went into a boiler hydrant for a little while, and our numbers were fluctuating up and down. Our well too is having water problems. We figured it out because we've seen it out each well, and we tested each given well. As of right now, for the last week, we've been running on well number 1. Water's perfect. We're switching over to well 3 tomorrow as a heads up. Should be fine. Well 2 has water problems now. Again, the water is softened. Everybody hasn't seen softened water in Lord knows how long. So because of that, it's acidic. Your lines have been taken in the iron for so many years, have developed iron corrosion within it. So this acidic water is eating it up, so we are getting brown water because it's clearing the lines. It's gonna take a few months to clean up. We'll flush it next week. Things are running a lot better, so if y'all have any problems, don't hesitate to call. My guys, they run 24/7. Just give us a call at whatever time. We're here to answer. My phone, I'm not worried about that. I'll talk to y'all. Call me.
He does answer.
I got a call about one at TOT Books, about a hole. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I can definitely come through. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's where it's at.
We have another.
Y'all were supposed to go back out there to.
I gotta get with the engineer as well. We got one on Pond, the water's coming in and paving the road, around the drain, so that's one they're looking for.
Yeah, that's why I pulled
Yeah,
my
no,
phone out.
the other 3, we've been patching a lot of roads. I don't know how many we've been patching, my guys, they got 3 times, they got them patched, and they patched the road. We had 3 of them at the base of the road for weeks, so I had to come back and fix that up. We put 16 patching it, and after the same 15 patching it, that road.
Well, that's just a call about my, I pulled my phone out because I couldn't remember.
I'll make a little photo this month.
Okay, what's the name?
We had a pretty successful spring ball season. We do still have one team in all stores. Our 14U boys team, I'm very proud. They finished in the top 2 in sectionals and super regionals. They are going on to the zone tournament at the end of July. If they place within, I think, the top 4 in that, then they go on to the championship and are able to compete on a much higher level. We have registration out right now for fall baseball, and as soon as that registration ends, then I'll be rolling out registration for the flag football.
All right, I'm going to accept all financial department wide reports, please vote. I mean, that motion to. Any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we'll go on the council. Brad, you had a lot to say?
I did, and, you know, I always said that I was gonna do everything I could, you know, for the town, and Getting back to that voting thing, I ran for alderman, no, 10 years ago, and, or whenever it was. And then I took my father-in-law's place and got into it and enjoyed it. I do it because of y'all. If anybody here knows me, y'all know that's how I am. Johnny knows that, told him that when I started, that, you know, me and him didn't get along sometimes, but sometimes we did, you know? And I recommend him for that. Just like the gentleman was saying, don't agree with everything, but you don't disagree with everything either. I want to compliment my other alderman and alderwoman for sticking up for y'all and voting y'all. And to move on with that, the water, I gotta say just a little bit, Greg, I know they're doing the best they can. I've heard a few calls that, you know, they have brown water and stuff. And I really don't understand. I think it's kind of like what you're talking about, different lines. I live on Cezanne. I don't have real salt water, but I always have brown water.
Correct. I know for the one that did, we found that one where we kept getting multiple complaints from certain times. On our dead end, and we put it off in different lines. I paid it all out in the equal 20 lines. That's different. Y'all don't understand. I'll be honest, a little help from the water operator and engineer, and I've been driving myself crazy because not only district, and you guys, oh my God, just like what you said, Mr. Greg, I take care of everybody. I care about everybody. I work my ass off, 24/7, day and night. It does not matter. People call me, I'm out there. My daughter answers the phone, they call me, I'm always there. 24/7, all field, I'm used to it. I work very hard, but I've been driving myself crazy to figure out this water problem for everybody. Really have. And I don't need no appreciation or thanks. It's what I do. But it took me forever, and I think finally when we started testing certain wells, well, my belief was actually right with that well too. We have to just start testing everything. We're getting up to par, y'all. Just give us time, I promise it'll be a lot better.
Thank you.
I just want to say that I appreciate everyone showing up today. We all have different beliefs, but there's one thing I do want to say, that although this ordinance was brought up by the mayor, I have to say that John and I have butted heads for many, many years, but he has brought this town to the point to where that we could vote this down. Our budgets and everything are working really great, and all of that credit is due to him staying on top of the finances of this town and working with everyone to get us to where we at. So in the midst of all the disagreements and all of this, let's not forget, and I hope y'all somehow or another take a step back and look, he is doing a great job as the mayor. He has faults just like all of us. And Greg, I appreciate your comments, because God knows we've had our differences too, but I highly respect you, Ronnie, and Donna. I highly respect all these people up here, and I appreciate the job. And we go back and forth with each other, and that's what it's all about, because when it boils down to it, it is about y'all. So thank you for coming, and I appreciate your opinions, and hope to see y'all here more often than not. Thank you.